Hello everyone, Meru here. Welcome back to another Monday vlog. And wow, I'm wearing makeup. I look amazing, don't I? Yeah, I wasn't really in the mood to put on makeup. I wasn't really in the mood to get out of bed, but my aunt gave me $150 worth of makeup, and like it's really cute. I don't know where it is. It's like right here, I think. Oh, that's the box, but this is the box. Yeah, I just smacked myself in the face with the box, but it's the Naked Urban Decay Wild West. Has a bunch of nice colors. Not necessarily the kind of colors I use. I use a lot more colors. At least I want to, like more neon. But they're very nice. It's a very, very nice collection of shades. They blend very well. A lot of pigment. This part right here, like that's a light blue. That one's supposed to be this one, who's kind of like a very light blue, more glittery. Yeah, a lot of pigment. And the lipstick. Oh, the lipstick. It's so creamy. The color is amazing, and it's so creamy. It just feels nice on my lips. Favorite lipstick. Think it's from like. I have absolutely no clue where this is from. Rogue Volpish. That's just a color. I have absolutely no idea what brand this is. I could probably check. I'll definitely edit that part out. Oh, it's Yves Saint Laurent. Yves Saint Laurent. Yeah, definitely my favorite lipstick. I wonder if they have this brand, like this same lipstick, but in black. Oh, I gotta look that up. I wanna find that out. Anyways, how have y'all weeks been? How have your week been? English, definitely not my forte. Yes, I'm drinking Dr. Pepper with a metal straw. Save the turtles. But like I'm wearing, I don't want to fuck up the lipstick, because I just put it back on after eating, because I had food here, but I felt like eating something not from home, so I ordered sushi and gyoza from this local place around here. Very nice, very tasty. One of my favorite sushi places here. Their gyoza, amazing, so good. And I just finished eating not too long ago. I was watching dumb, funny YouTube videos. And by that I mean I was watching Teching for like an hour. And then I watched like the weird purple Muppet that talked about like blueberries, and like the one time that he tried to buy a bookshelf on an online store and ended up helping this guy who was having a divorce with the wife that cheated on him with his best friend, break her house and then just drop him off at a train station. It's very funny. Yeah, that's my day. That's been my day. But yeah, how has your week been? Why can I not say that sentence? How has your week been? That's what I gotta say. Has it been good? I hope it's been good. I hope it's been better than mine, because mine has been a nightmare, to say the least. So, I have a lot of tea. I have a lot of interesting stuff that's happened to me lately. So, Thursday I went to work. Not a big deal. No, everything was normal. Everything was fine. And then Friday I show up at 5 in the morning, and there's 3 boys there. One of them has been working there for like 3 weeks. The other 2, brand new. They've only been working there for like less than a week. They barely know what they're doing, but you know. they're doing their own thing, and I just show up and I'm doing my own thing and I'm doing stuff, and then orders start. Fridays and Saturdays are our busiest days, but those are also the days when our most competent people are off. So I'm trying to run a store on one of our busiest days with 3 people that barely make a whole. And it's just a nightmare. So I'm trying to get these, I'm like, hey, can you guys put on a headset? Or, because I'm doing food, which I can't do for too long because I am anemic. I am 87 pounds of just not enough weight. And I can't be next to high temperatures while also doing physical work because it makes me nauseous because I'm very underweight. And if I do that, like, my body just loses a lot of fat too fast, because I sweat profusely constantly because of my anxiety disorder, and I'm always constantly sweating. Being next to an oven and moving around fast, touching a lot of hot things makes me sweat even more, which makes me even more nauseous because I'm losing way too much, weight too fast. And also, I cannot eat before 9 a.m. or I will get a stomach ache. And I go, and I'm trying to make these fucking sandwiches, and I'm like, also taking orders, and also cashing people out. It's 6 a.m. I'm like, hey, can one of you either, like, get on the window or take orders, because I literally cannot do all 3. And then the 2 kids, the two kids that barely know what they're doing, they start doing stuff for me. This other motherfucker that has been working there for 3 fucking weeks, and he knows how to do everything. Now, bear in mind, he is a healthy 18-year-old man. He is the slowest motherfucker I have ever had the displeasure of meeting. He's slower than an old lady, okay? He's the slowest he's sitting, he's doing prep, which we're not supposed to do. Like, if we're busy, we leave prep for later, because there's time, the store closes at 9. You have at least, at least 10 more hours. 10, 12 hours before, you have to think about that. So, this guy, he's and not only is he just, doing with one hand, he's, listening to music, and he's just, putting a bagel, putting another bagel, putting another bagel, and then he's sitting on a chair, putting the bagels on the thing, and putting them up on and I'm like, kid, I need you up here, I need you to do something productive, okay? Just, it got to the point where literally the person, because where I work, it's a gas station that has 2 restaurants. It has the gas station, it has a Subway, and then it has the Dunkin' Donuts. And the lady from the Subway is like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I'm not okay. And she's like, okay, I gotcha. She calls the manager of the store, of the entire thing, and he calls the regional manager, because we haven't had an actual manager in 3 months, because our original manager was switched to a different store, and we had another manager that quit 2 weeks after she was put in our store. So we've had no managers for 3 full months. So our regional manager, which also manages a bunch of other stores at the same time and doesn't have the time to be there all day, he's like, oh, okay. So he calls our assistant manager, it's her day off, and this other girl who's supposed to be there at night, I think. She was supposed to close, so she's there at 8 a.m. And then this other girl who I think was also not supposed to be there. So, and I am already, I am mentally ill. When I get too stressed, I switch personalities, and I have absolutely no control of what I say or what I do. And I was literally having an anxiety, a panic attack, where I was trembling, I was nauseous, I couldn't do anything, I couldn't talk to I just could not, any tiny inconvenience was immense, and I got to, I was crying, I was in tears, so I'm like, I'm going home. I told the assistant manager, I'm like, I cannot deal with this, I'm going home. This mother, I started cursing. There was, I threw a fuck every 3 words. There was cursing everywhere. And that's what it's a coping mechanism. Because, I don't, for me, bad words and cuss words, they're not as bad, you know? Like, I don't know, for me, cuss words, they're just words, you know? They don't really affect or change the meaning of things as like, oh, that's cute, or it's like, oh, that's cute, and it's like, no, that's fucking cute. It just gives it like a bit more like, yeah, more a bit of a pizzazz, but not really, you know, I don't really use like cuss words to be offensive. Like, I can call someone a bitch, that doesn't necessarily mean I consider them, you know, like, oh, you're such a fucking bitch. I'm just like, no, you're a fucking bitch and I love you. You know, kind of stuff like that. Like, it's lost the you know, the intense meaning. So for me, cuss words are just kind of like a coping mechanism that I use to defend myself, I guess. It's the best way to do it. And I'm just like, I'm going home. I don't care. Like, I just told the assistant manager, like, I'm sorry, I'm going home. I don't care. Goodbye. And she's like, yeah, go home. Like, she knows me by now. And then I text like hours later. So I get home. It was like not even 9 yet. It was like 8:40 by the time I left. And then I got here and made myself breakfast. And then I had a mental breakdown in my bed. And then I went and took a shower and I felt better. And then later in the afternoon, I messaged the regional manager, which is like, hey, listen, this happened. I don't, you know, I know I'm a lot to deal with. I know I have a lot of, like, you know, if you don't want to deal with it anymore, just tell me. You're not going to have to deal with it. He's like, don't worry about it. I'm mowing the lawn right now, so I'll call you in a bit. I want to talk to you about something. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then I take a nap, and I attempted to take a nap. So then I just went and started playing Final Fantasy XIV online. And I was playing that, and then he calls me, and he's like, oh, no, it's fine, you know, like, me and the assistant manager, like, at first we were scared of you, but then after, like, you explained to us, like, your you know, your problems, you know, the stuff that you have to deal with, we kind of, like, we respect you now, like, we know what's going on, and you're like a great worker, like you do everything that you're told, you never called out for stupid reasons. Like I think I've only called out once, and it was because someone shut up my car. Y'all know that story, and if you don't, it's probably in the title where it says like someone shut up my car or some shit like that. You can find it, just look it up. It's one of my videos. And then he's like, but you're a great worker. You always do what you're told. You're always doing everything. You're a great worker. We don't want to lose you. You're like one of my best workers. You know, don't worry about it. Because I sent him a message saying, because also that was on April the 24th, which was supposed to be National RAPE Day. And I didn't want to show up at 5 a.m. to a store where I was going to be surrounded by 3 other men. Because I don't know them. Especially after I yelled at all 3 of them very badly. Where one of them seemed like he was about to jump me. And I'm like, I don't feel comfortable working with men. I don't feel comfortable working with like 3 men by myself. Like when it's so dark. Like I have trauma. I don't trust men. And he's a man. But, like, he has a daughter now. I think it's a daughter. She's a little baby. And he's like, oh, don't worry about it, whatever. He's like, I talked to the guy. The other 2 are fine, you know. They don't know what they're doing. And I'm like, oh, yeah, no, the other 2 are fine. They barely know what the hell is going on half the time. He's my problem. The big guy's my problem. Big Al. We call him Big Al because he's really fucking tall. Like, he's a tall boy. That man is, like, tall. Like, when I tell you tall, he's tall. He's not, like... 6'5". He's maybe like 6'1.5". I don't know. I'm short, so anybody's tall next to me. But he's like, oh, I talked to him, you know, and we saw him in the cameras, and it's unacceptable what he was doing. You know, we saw him in the cameras. Like, we checked the cameras. We took pictures. It's unacceptable. I already talked to him, you know. It's not gonna happen again. Tomorrow, I have a manager from a different store opening up the store, so you don't have to worry about that, you know. And I'm like, all right, that's fine. I show up the next day, 5 a.m, because I'm always 5 to 1. There's no one there, absolutely no one. So I call the regional manager, like, hey, there's no one here. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, no, the manager said isn't here. None of the boys are here. I'm literally by myself. And he's like, all right, give me a second. So I clock in, I make myself a coffee, and I start doing, some of the prep. Because I don't know how to do morning opening. Like, I don't know how to do any of the bagels or croissants. I don't know how to cook any of that. So then he calls me back, and he's like, oh, the manager, she's close by. She's almost there. And the other two boys, they just didn't know when they had to show up. And I'm like, all right, that's fine. They're new. Not a big deal. They show up. We start working. We open the store almost at like 6:30, 7. Because we didn't, we were trying to catch up. We had to do everything that's supposed to be done at 4 in the morning at 5 in the morning. Because we opened at 5. But we couldn't, we ended up opening at like 6:30 because we didn't have anything ready. The creamer machine was dirty. The espresso machine was dirty. No bagels were made. No, the donuts weren't set up. Nothing was ready. So then everyone's like, you guys open? And we're like, yeah, technically, but also no. I can't give you anything because we don't have anything. So we open up eventually, and then we're working. We're doing pretty good. It's busy, blah, blah, blah. But it's fine. Not too much of a bad day. Then yesterday, Sunday, supposed to be one of the slowest days. Mondays and Sundays are like our slowest days. But I show up 5 in the morning. I already knew that the assistant manager who's supposed to open, she was gonna be late. So she was either gonna be in there at 5 or she was gonna come in later than me. I'm like, oh yeah, that's fine. So I get there. There's the donuts. Usually the donuts are set down in like these crates, like all separated. And they're in 2 stacks. They reach about like yay high. No, they put both stacks on top of each other to the point where I could not reach the top stack. So I'm like, okay, I can't do the donuts. I can't do the bagels. What do I do? What do I do? Like, I can't do anything because I'm short and I'm weak. So like the assistant manager comes, he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm gonna be a little bit late. Shit happened. I'm like, not a big deal. I'm just telling you, can't really help out do much. I'm gonna clean. I'm gonna do all the basic stuff that I usually do. When you get here, donuts aren't gonna be made. None of that stuff is gonna be made because I don't know how to make it. She's like, oh, don't worry about it. And then she arrives and I help her do the donuts, blah, blah, blah. And then, turns out, 2 people called out. Yeah, one of the boys called out. And then one of our other girls that was supposed to show up at 8 called out. And then we didn't have, and it was basically 2.5 people taking care of an entire store until 10:30 when this other girl showed up she's a minor, so she can't do sandwiches. And it was, busy isn't the word. Let's just say that the line to get food, just like to get stuff to order, was wrapped around the entire gas station. Just, the cars just slowly moved up. And it was funny because they kept honking, and it's like, you see the line. You literally got yourself in the line. You see where the line ends, and you're being impatient. Like, chill. Chill, my dude. Chill. And then, when I was leaving, usually the night shift, she comes in on time. She's usually maybe 1-2 minutes late. At most. She's usually there on time, perfect attendance, no big deal. And it's 15 after 1. I leave at 1. I'm usually not actually off at 1, because usually there's some stuff going on. I'm usually off at 1:30. Shit happens. But it's 1:15, and then the assistant manager's like, where is this girl? Where is she? She calls her up, but she's like, oh yeah, I'm not coming. And then my assistant manager goes so much, she's like, you could have at least called. And she's like, no, I have to be here until 9 p.m. And I'm like, no, just close the store early, girl. Just close the store early. We've done it before. We can do it again. Just close it early. And another funny thing is that our espresso machine broke. Our coffee was atrocious. I don't know who made the iced coffee, because there was some there, and I don't know if it was supposed to be iced coffee. I don't know. There was some stuff there. And I was going to remake the coffee, but our assistant manager was like, we'll just put this. I don't even know if it has ice. But the coffee was water. Our espresso machine was spitting out water. Not even espresso. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's not espresso, girl. That ain't espresso. And then, so we had to shut that down. And people were coming up, and I was like, yeah, we don't have espresso. We ran out of iced coffee, and I had to make some new one. But at least this one was good. And then, like, everything was falling apart because 2 people called out, and then night shift calls out. And then she's just like, I don't know what she's like, she's having, like, I can see it in her eyes. She's having a mental breakdown. And I'm like, girl, if I was healthy, I would have stayed here till 9. If I was mentally and physically able to, I would have stayed here for you. I would have stayed from 5 in the fucking morning till 9 fucking p.m. Because I used to do that in my other Dunkin' Donuts. I used to show up at like 10 in the morning, and then they'd be like, oh, do you think you could stay until 10 p.m.? And I'd be like, not a big deal. Let me call my mom. Give me 5 minutes to tell my mom. And then I would call and be like, hey mom, I'm gonna take some extra hours. I'm gonna be here until 10. And she'd be like, all right, be careful. And I was like, okay. But now I can't, because I'm underweight. I am mentally unstable. And I'm just like so physically and mentally exhausted that I can barely do 32 hours a week. Barely. I can barely do, like, I do every day, like, those, I work 4 days a week. And each of those days I do 8.5 hours, give or take. And I asked the regional manager to cut my hours down to like 20-25 hours. So my plan was like maybe have like 6 hours a day for 4 days. You know, that's about 22-23 hours, because usually I end up staying like half an hour more, an hour more. No, it's not a big deal. But I'm just like, girl, just you know, just go home, you know, just close the store early, go home. And I had to go. Like, I grabbed food. Like, I called my mom and I'm like, hey, you got food? No? All right, I'm gonna take some. So I grabbed food from the Dunkin's, and then I went to a Starbucks that's across the street to get a coffee because our espresso machine is down. So I had to go from a Dunkin' Donuts to a Starbucks to pay for $6. Not even, it's like $6.50 for a fucking coffee, because my work's espresso machine was down. And I was like, But then I got the stuff and I went home, and it was fine. And that was yesterday. That shit was a mess, like a whole mess. And then yesterday as well, I was playing with my friend We were just chatting in Discord. I don't know what they were playing. I think they were playing League or something. They love League. I hate League, but they love League. And we were talking, and I'm like, oh yeah, I don't really play, like, they posted a new picture, the picture of a new character from Genshin Impact, and I'm like, oh, they look really cute, like, I like their character, like, I'd love to summon for them if I actually play Genshin anymore. I don't play it anymore, because, like, I don't really know, and my friend, is like, I can help you. So I basically gave them my account for them to level up my characters, to fix my characters and level me up to World 2. Now, get this, you are level 25 when you are supposed to level up to World 2. I had so much EXP backed up that when they got me to level 2, it boosted me up to almost level 29. I had this much, just 100, maybe 1,000 XP left to be level 29. That's how much XP I had backed up, cause I couldn't pass it, cause my characters were garbage. I didn't know how to build them, I didn't know what I was doing, and I wasn't using the strongest character I had, which was Jean. I had Jean, I leveled her up to level 40, but I didn't actually build her or level her up or anything, or ascend her. And she's like, my friend was like, dude, the fuck? And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm dumb. And they're like, alright, I'll help you. They got me to World 2, and then today I played a little bit. I might play of it a little bit later after I'm done with this video. I'm very, very thankful for that help, because now I can actually enjoy the story. Because Genshin, for me, it's like, it's a type of game where, like, I love the story, I love the lore, I love the characters, I want to collect all the characters, or, like, specific characters. I like the lollies, like, the little kids, they're adorable, I would collect them all, especially the little cat girl. She's so cute, she's she's a little calico. It's so cute. Just a baby. I main Albedo because, of course I will. Of course I main Albedo. Albedo, Razor, and Sucrose are my favorite characters. Duh. And then my team is basically after my friend fixed it, is basically it's Racer, Albedo, Sucrose, and Jean. And oh my god, it's so much easier to do shit now. Like, it doesn't take me 3 hours to murder a kid. I just one hit KO. I didn't know Jean was that fun to play, but she is. She's amazing. Mommy, I like dilfs. What can I say? But yeah, that was that. And recently I've noticing like a bit like there's just stuff with me, like I consider myself like a she they non-binary, because for me, like, I've always had like, not to say like a bad experience with gender, but more like a misunderstanding with gender, or like me not ever actually understanding gender. Because even when I was little, like, I couldn't be with the girls because they thought I was a prude. They thought I was too much of a tomboy. And the boys didn't want to play with me because I was a girl. You know, the girls have cooties kind of bullshit. Because, like, in Cuba, let's have this, for example. So, in my school, this was 4th grade, by the way. All the girls were wearing, like, booty shorts and crop tops where, like, their bellies were out and, like, their thighs were out, like, half of their ass were out. And I wore, like, pants up to my belly, like, shorts up to my belly, like, down to, like, my, halfway down my thigh, my thighs, and, like, up to my belly, and then a shirt that just covered that covered my whole body, because I've never been someone to, like, show off my body. Now I'm a little bit more showing it off, even though I'm not that confident, but only because I want to try to be more confident. I'm showing off a little bit more, especially, like, once I'm able to actually gain a bit more weight back, I will gain my confidence back, because that's my main thing, because I have body dysmorphia, and I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, you disgusting trash bag. How dare you try to wear anything cute? You look like a skeleton attempting to wear something proper. And I'm like, that's alright, I can at least attempt to. I can at least make people laugh by looking like a skeleton that's trying to wear something decent. That's just my own personal internal dilemma. So, like, when I was little, I used to wear like that, and the girls used to make fun of me because I wasn't girly enough. I was like, oh my god, why were you need to pull your pants down, you need to, like, show a little bit more. Why don't you dress like that? And I'm like, we're fucking 8. Not even. 4th grade is like, what, you're like 7? We're fucking 7. What are you doing showing off your ass? Put the cover. Get a jacket. Get a fucking something. Cover that up, girl. No one wants to see that. You're 7. Cover that up. No one wants to see it. I mean, honestly, there's nothing to see. You're fucking 7. When I was 6, I used to run around in the rain completely fucking naked. Bucky naked. Because I was a child, and my grandparents were like, yeah, you're a fucking child. Go ahead. You want to be naked? Go in the backyard and be naked. Like, my grandpa didn't give a fuck. My neighbors didn't give a fuck. As I was, fucking 7. I'm a child. No one gives a fuck. They're just like, oh, it's a baby. And I'm just like, hey, rain! I'm gonna die! Because, it's normal. You're a child. You like being naked. Children love being naked. But, like, I just felt uncomfortable wearing shorts and, like, fucking crop tops to school. Because that wasn't, normal. And then I would try to play with the boys. I'm like, oh, you're too delicate. And I'm like, am I, though? Like I never understood the, oh, you have to do this if you're a girl. Oh, you have to do that if you're a boy. Because, like, my grandparents did not give a shit. I wanted a toy, they would get me that toy. I wanted Legos, I would get Legos. I wanted a gun, and they would get me a gun. I wanted cars, they would get me a car. I wanted Barbies, I would get Barbies. no one cared. Like, my family never really put me like, oh, you have to do this and that. Like, you know, they dressed me up like a girl. They treated me like a girl. Like, you know, they're like, female, you were assigned female at birth, we're gonna treat you like a female. That's what they did. But, like, if I wanted to play dirty in the backyard and play with dirt, then we're gonna be like, oh, ladies, don't play with dirt. They're just like, oh, okay, you're playing with dirt, you're being creative. As long as you're not, you know, killing someone or like doing something criminal, you know, as long as you're just being a good kid, it doesn't matter what you do. Like, that's my family's philosophy. At least, you know, a lot of my family's philosophy. The one that raised me is just like, you know, as long as you're doing good, like, as long as you're not hurting yourself or somebody else, do whatever pleases you. You know, that was their whole thing. And I've always, like, all the time, like, I was always, you know, having these, like, problems with gender. And then even before I came out as non-binary or just queer in general, I had this, like, just this image of, like, every time that I, like, made myself in a different world, I'd be like, I would have preferred to be a boy. It's like, if I was in the world of One Piece, I would, like, my OCs, they would be men. If I was in the world of Fairy Tail, most of my OCs were men. Unless it was, like, a specific other thing where it's, like, me. If it's me, myself, then I'm like, alright, whatever, I'm a girl. But I would wear, you know, I would not be a girl. You know, I would try to be something else. Or, like, maybe, like, non-binary. But I didn't know what non-binary was back then. It's like, oh, I can dress up as a boy. I pretend to be a boy. Like Haruhi did in Oran High School Host Club. Listen, that was more of an awakening than I care to admit. Haruhi gives me gender envy. And I love her. But it's very much true. She gives me a lot of gender envy. I had a lot of realizations when I watched Oran High School Host Club, and I don't want to admit it. Anyways, yeah, but, like, I would try to do these, you know, characters that would represent me. And just kind of, like, back then I thought I had multiple personalities because I had voices in my head. But not necessarily multiple personalities. I think I just have voices in my head. I called my my intrusive thoughts, I call them kudo, because kudo means black in Japanese, and they were kind of like my dark thoughts. So I'm just like, okay, you're gonna be kudo. And then my ideal version of me that I have in my head, I called that Alex, because I asked my mom once, hey, if you would have had a boy instead of a girl, what would you have called him? And she's like, oh, I would have called him Alejandro, because that was the name of my first love. And I'm like, it's a little cheesy, but alright. And then I'm like, Alejandro, I like that name, but I'm gonna cut it down to Alex. I like Alex. It's very gender neutral, it's very cute. You know, it could be anything. And that name started giving me some weird feeling. Like, I'm like, oh, I kind of really like that name. So I started calling myself Alex online in either, like, forums or fan fictions or just, like, to strangers. I'm like, oh, I'm Alex. You know, and I wouldn't tell people my gender, or, like, if they ask, I'd be like, yeah, I'm a girl, whatever. But I usually would prefer for people, oops, something's falling, for people to just, like, address me. It's just like, you know, Alex. And now, looking back at it, I'm realizing that it's because I'm non-binary, and that's my chosen name. You know, because there's a lot of non-binary people and trans people, specifically, that when they change their names, they pick, like, a name that's meaningful to them, or, like, that means something. And for me, it would be Alex. And if I could change my name, I would. Trust me, like, I would. Because I'm not very fond of my name, my actual name, like, the name, my actual name is Melissa. It's nothing fancy, nothing interesting. I fucking hate that name, because it's boring as hell. It's like, oh yeah, what's your name? It's like, it's Melissa. It's like, okay. It was a name derived from a Brazilian, like, telenovela. And, like, they couldn't find a name for me, so they're just like, oh yeah, let's just name her Melissa. And I'm like, alright, whatever. It's a fine name, not a big deal. And then, my family usually calls me Melly, which is fine, it's cute. And then I had a cousin who calls me Melili. And I'm like, that's cute. And then my best friend gave me the nickname MeruChan, which is what I use on a lot of platforms. It's MeruChan. you know, it was from my weeb phase, and my best friend gave it to me, so it's really important to me. I love it. But if I could, like, legally change my name, I would change it to Alex. And I very much want to, but there's a problem, being that I have a very Hispanic family, and they're very old school. Not to say that they're, you know, homophobic or that stuff. More like they don't give a fuck. And they don't understand it. Even if you explain it to them, they're not gonna understand. Like, they know I'm bisexual. They know I'm bisexual. They know I like women. And they have no problem with it. They're just like, oh yeah, whatever, it's your thing. As long as you're happy, we don't really give a damn. And I'm like, alright, that's fine. However, if I come out and start being like, oh, I'm non-binary, I want my name to be changed, I want all of you to start calling me something different, I don't know that they're gonna understand what that means. And it's gonna be really hard for them to even attempt to do anything. And I don't think they care enough about me to actually change the way that they address me, even if I explain it. Like, I know that, like, there's like a fear in my mind that will make them see me differently. Like, I don't know if they'll accept it or not, or be like, this is too much. Because, like, I know my mom understands me very well. Like, I have solid, like, deep conversations with my mom about things, and I can explain her things. I've explained to her what being a trans person is, not because of me, but I'm like, oh, it's because, you know, I have a trans friend, blah blah blah, and she's like, oh, I don't know what that means, and I'm like, oh, this is what it means, and she's like, oh, okay. I had to explain to her, like, what it means, you know, how it happens, why it happens, and then it took me a bit, but she finally kind of understood it. Like, she's like, oh, she ended up with the things like, yeah, whatever, other people's business is not my business. As long as they're happy, not my problem. That's kind of like the mentality, you know? And I just don't know if I can actually, like, bring myself to change the way I'm perceived by my family, just to make myself more comfortable. And, like, even with, like, people that know me, like, all my friends and stuff, like, no one actually perceives me as non-binary. Everyone just sees me as, like, oh, it's Melissa. She's a girl. And I'm like, hi. Even though, like, I don't really feel comfortable being a girl. Yes, I'm very female presenting. Yes, I like makeup, I like dresses. But that's more like, because I've just been raised to be this way, and I just feel comfortable because it's easy. It's just easy to just put on a dress and be like, okay, look, society can accept me. But I myself, like, as myself, I just don't think that gender fucking matters. I don't see myself as a girl. I don't see myself as a man. I just see myself as a void that doesn't want to be alive. That's my main thing. Like, I just don't care about gender, but it bothers me when people see me as a gender. I don't want to be perceived as a girl. I don't want to be perceived as a man. I just want to be perceived as a person. And I just think that like the name Alex would fit me very well, but like I don't want to start like going around and like every time that like telling everyone, oh, call me Alex, or like one specific group of people, oh, call me Alex, to then just, you know, have to explain what I feel or like what I am, and then every time that someone misgenders me or dead names me, to be like, hey, that's not my name, or oh, that's not my gender. And it's tiring, and I think it's just easier to just suffer silently when every time that anyone just perceives me as a woman. I don't know, I don't know. I'm honestly at the point in my life where I don't really fucking know what's going on ever, especially when it has to do with my mental health. I don't know. I'm constantly on the verge of a mental breakdown. If I'm not in a mental breakdown, like, I can barely eat, I can barely sleep, I barely have the energy to even do the things I like. Like, I stopped. I love streaming, but I had to stop because I'm, like, mentally exhausted. And, like, videos, there's so many ideas and things that I want to do in terms of videos and in terms of content for this channel, for my other 2 channels, but I just can't bring myself to do it because I'm so fucking depressed that I just cannot bring myself to do anything fucking productive. And I just spend fucking 10 hours on TikTok doing fuck nothing, or watching YouTube about shit that I don't really give a shit about, like, oh, this is a drama with James Charles. I didn't know who James Charles was before 2020, or like 2019, when like the bi-sister scandal happened. That's the first time I heard about James Charles or Tati or Jeffree Star. Like, I knew Shane Dawson. Like, I knew he was, like, at first I knew him because he did, like, food stuff. Like, it's just, like, little stuff with, like, food, and then he did conspiracy theories, which I was like, oh, yeah, that's cool, conspiracy theories. And he made that one movie that one time that I watched and actually enjoyed back then, and then I remember, I'm like, yeah, no, that was kind of a shitty movie. I was a child, okay? Don't judge me. I was like 14, 15 when that movie happened. Don't judge me. I would have punched myself as well. But like, all that drama happened, and because of Shane Dawson, I started liking Jeffree Star, and like started getting into makeup, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But then all the allegations keep tumbling down, and I'm like, oh, never mind, don't like Jeffree Star no more. And then same with like James Charles. It's like, oh, he's a little sus there. And especially now, he's extra sus. Because that man is just a pedo disguised as a gay man. And no one's doing anything about it because he's a gay white man. He's a white gay man. Which are on thin fucking ice, okay? They're on thin fucking ice. And then a lot's been going on, and it's just like, I don't even know how I got to Jeffree Star, but we got here. We got to that point in life. Yeah, anyways, I don't know what the fuck's going on with my head. There's a lot going on up here, and I cannot read it. I think the best way to explain it is I have bees in my brain that just won't shut up. There's just bees constantly having little conversations in there, all buzzing, just buzz, buzz, busy bee, busy bee, busy bee. And no one's actually doing anything productive to help the system, work properly. They're all having kind of like a break at bad intervals where it's like, hey, could you please get back to work? I need to concentrate on this. And I'm like, well, I'm in the middle of a video game right now. Sorry, boss, can't really do that. And it's like, okay, all right, take your time, I guess. I'll just mentally collapse. But you can continue doing whatever the fuck you're doing. It's fine. It's not like my life matters, anyways. Anywho, I think that's enough of that for now. I'm gonna probably go do some TikToks now, because I'm dressed kind of cute. This is my outfit. I'm wearing little shorts with what are these called? Fishnets, and then I got a cute shirt. Yay! Latte, 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 latte. I don't know the song, but yeah, I'll probably do some TikToks, some tiki-tackles, tiki-talks, tackles. Even though TikTok has been a bitch lately, like it's censoring anyone that's not a straight white person, and it's just not. It's just kind of TikTok's just kind of garbage right now. But, what part of the world isn't? Which actually gets me to the point. I don't think I have time for that because I'm already like 44 minutes in. But I hate it online. Like, every time that I go to Twitter or Tumblr, it's like, I cannot believe no one's speaking about this. And they're talking about some, like, fucking tragedy that happened in another part of the world. And I'm like, listen, I already have enough problems dealing with my bullshit and dealing with my country's bullshit. I do not have the energy to care about other people. Like, I know there was like 2 hurricanes that hit this one country. I know this other country just got like destroyed because it was an eruption. And I know, like, China is going through a lot right now. And a lot of other countries are going through a lot right now. Like, France is just Islamophobic to the max, which is like, why can't you just let women wear whatever the fuck? Just let women cover their heads. Why is that a problem for you? Just let them cover their heads. Why is that a problem? But, like, it's just so much. It's like, I can only deal with so much as a mentally ill person, okay? I have to ignore the rest of the world, even stuff that's happening in my own country. I have to ignore because I'm not mentally capable of taking it all in. I have to ignore the things happen because if I take it all in, I'm just getting so depressed that I'm just gonna either kill myself or end up wrapped in a corner, not unable to comprehend things. I'm just gonna mentally just crash. You know the Windows grrr. That, my brain's just gonna do that. It's gonna do the Windows 98 crash sound. It's gonna do that. It's just gonna be that on a constant. And I just cannot deal with that. Like, I'm sorry that you're going through a tragedy wherever the fuck you are. Like, I wish I could help. I wish I had the platform. I wish I had the money to help you. But alas, I'm just a physically and mentally ill, non-binary NB thing that barely knows what's going on half the time and does not have the mental capacity to comprehend anything else because they're too stumped. And I'm just like, I'm just trying to survive another day, dude. I'm sorry that people are dying, but I'm just trying to not die myself, okay? I think that's enough bullshit out of me. Thank you for watching. If you did watch this far, comment down below what you think about the topics that I talked about. Even though no one actually fucking comments ever, but if you do want to comment and want to support me, please comment down below. Like this video, subscribe if you want more of my hot takes. Yes, I'm mentally ill. Yes, I'm mentally insane. But I hope you at least had a bit of a nice time hearing me talk bullshit. I hope you like the makeup. I'll probably be doing more in the future. Who knows? Depends on my mental stability that day. Anyways, I'm gonna head out. I can make some TikToks. Oh, sorry, I drank too much soda. Anyway, yeah, like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. If you want, links in the description below, or just Linktr.ee /MeruChan. You can also find it there. I also have a wish list if you want to donate to me in any way. My birthday's coming up. But if you want to get me anything, it's my wish list. Anything in my wish list. It goes from like $5 to $160. There's something you can find. Anything you buy me from there, I'd be happy. Although I'd probably have to check that wish list. There's probably a lot of stuff in there that are just like not right to buy right now. Anyways, yeah, that's enough for me today. Goodbye. See y'all in the next time. Meru out.